versus PSG.LGD. Game 2.
All right, guys, we have game number 2 between these two titans. Do we think we're going to see anything different? Is it going to slow down, or are they going to keep going with these high-octane strats?
I think Virtus.pro will make the switch that they did in the game against Vici, where they lost the first game, and now they need somehow to win at least a game to keep them inside of this series. So I expect something a bit more early-oriented, stay away from the bristleback, and yeah, we see Tiny. Magnus is still in the pool, Io is still available if they want to buff him up.
Yeah, I totally agreed with LOA's point at the end there. That whole draft of VP is built where Ember Bristle effectively have to just win the game by themselves, and the Bane, Silencer, Earthshaker, like they've got some control, but they don't actually add damage, and they don't add any durability to their cores. You could see, like, also I think the pace getting set with GPK dying mid, like he balled out yesterday. You get solo kills any match, especially in this patch where you're just getting a quick bottle, grab those 2 4-minute runes, like that's a pretty big mental blow, I'd say, though he did seem to recover throughout the game.
So it was a situation where when you looked at that draft, it was just a little bit too flat, didn't have enough dimensions to it, just too very specifically looking at certain things that need to be achieved?
Yeah, that's a really cool way of putting it, because it felt like it was a much more layered lineup inside of PSG.LGD, and you think about the natural answers that their heroes could kit for. They even went the secondary Silver Edge on Ame, so you're basically just addressing the enemy win condition by both BKB and offensive Silver Edge. So, you get the Aghanims timing on your Bristle, but it doesn't actually win the game for you. And I think if VP changed something up, they already have the Io Tiny, so that's a great start. I think it's the highest win rate combination in TI. But I've been wrong about old statistics.
That up, and I can say, I completely agree.
With conviction, sir. He's looking at our panel, and they're just like, you're on your own, bro. We're not helping you on
Ali
this.
gave me a thumbs up. LOA gave me a shoulder shrug, and Tiga was like, nah, bro. So,
got it.
Who do you trust?
Okay, so...
Not you is the answer to that question. Look at us, though. Do we like this? Are we seeing, is this more dynamic already? Does it have more flexibility?
It is. I believe this is going to be a position 1 Tiny. You have Io, so there's no need to flex it. We saw throughout the group stage and the main stage what this combination of 2 heroes can do. Also, looking at the Wyvern plus Monkey King, that's a good way to set things up, and especially against Io, because he's going to be tethered up to Tiny, so Wyvern's ulti is going to always be very potent. And to go back to the Wyvern, Tiny, after he uses his combo, he deals heavy physical damage. So this is where, Winter Wyvern's heal is going to come into play. Kyle, you're making me laugh. All right, you go.
Oh, I just wanted to point out, traditionally we think of Monkey King as a carry or a mid, and Wyvern as the support. But this is still a very open lineup. We saw 9 from Tundra popularize the Winter Wyvern middle. It looked very good, almost good enough to get here to TI, of course, beaten in the qualifiers by the TI 8 and 9 champions OG. It's very strong with the Aghanims timing, though, against Tiny, because of the HP-based, max HP-based damage on your Q that will consistently be reapplied if you do get Aghanims.
Agree, but that got nerfed, so I think they're going to stay away from it, play it as position 4 or 5. We're going to have to see if this is a position 1 Monkey. It's not something you like to play into, because, you're playing into Tiny, so there's always a possibility that you're going to be tossed out of your Wukong's command. Back to you, Kyle.
Sorry, Jenkins just walked on set.
Well, to piggyback off of that, I know that Kyle's getting a little distracted right now. But, you talk about how we have very flexible drafts. This is a very dynamic patch. The fact that there are so many different heroes that we can pick that can be placed into different positions. From discussing this with several of the guys, Monkey King position 1 just seems to be like the ultimate pick if you're able to get it. Very similar to like a Tiny, right? Tiny has some flexibility, but generally speaking, I feel that when we see the Monkey King this early, it's got to have either the ability to shift into becoming that support, or obviously the position 1, but you can't be totally sold on it right off the bat.
It's always flexible, but it's quite nice against Wisp lineups, because you're typically always going to play in this like 3-2 split with the IO relocate possibility, Monkey King, whatever the role, is going to be able to provide a ton of vision from the trees. And it's a really cool combo with Wyvern. I think it was EG who famously always ran this Wyvern with Nyx Assassin. Monkey King is kind of the same concept because you get a curse and then you have a huge spell that follows up without being squandered, right? And then suddenly there's a Wukong's, a Boundless as it ends, and you have this massive teamfight advantage. That's a much earlier Necro than I'm used to seeing, but that is like a hard counter in theory to Tiny. Super high HP, super high armor, but the max HP damage on the Scythe, very effective.
Yeah, because Tiny and IO, they love to play like half HP. You know, there's going to be mech, Holy Locket coming out. The Necro has this ability to stop this type of a play. What I want to see from Virtus.pro is some kind of heavy magical damage. They have very limited amount of silence, so one of the spirits, I feel,
Like a Storm
Void
Spirit,
Spirit, even Queen of Pain. Storm Spirit is banned out in the first phase.
Oh yes, I have very bad vision. Apologies. But yes, any sort of a spirit would be potentially very good considering the lack of lockdown. Although we are getting
So
Different
this is
kind of spirit for now.
right.
Yeah, but this is very up tempo from Virtus.pro. But PSG.LGD, like they already wanted long fights. Now they really want long fights. And in addition, if they were to swap the Necrophos into the Darkseer lane, that's like the dream for you because you just spam Q, get regen off creeps, and you're never really going to get dove under tower. And I'm concerned because if you can't kill Necrophos, now they have even more save. This just ended Darkseer's laning phase. Like you don't see this hero very often, but like Darkseer's kind of unplayable into Oracle. The Q spam, dispelling the shield. It's a really tough matchup already for VP.
It really is. And the combination with Necro, you become magic immune and physical damage immune, so literally no one can touch you. This is going to be a position 1 Monkey King from what I see. They have 3 repositioning abilities, Toss, Vacuum, and Kick from Earth Spirit. So Monkey King's Wukong's command might not be as effective as usual, but as Carl said, Winter's Curse can set things up. They're a bit limited on the lockdown, no silence.
It's tough because without the Oracle, Monkey Carry is a bit exposed against Earth Spirit Darkseer because they're just going to pull waves, they'll get a level advantage, and suddenly they can run at the Monkey King. But now Oracle's there to pretty much secure the lane, and you're playing against 2 melee heroes. It's kind of the dream. Necro is also a traditionally very hard hero to rotate on. Earth Spirits don't like to have to stay in the lane. They want to be able to apply threat in like all places if possible. But you already have pretty durable laning setups from PSG.LGD, at least what they've revealed so far. Be Wyvern top then with potentially the last pick?
Yeah, most likely. Yeah, most likely. I want to see something very active from PSG.LGD. They're banning out the Leshrac to deal with the illusions coming out from the Darkseer. There's still Void Spirit feels really good for both teams, and I feel Queen of Pain might be the other one. At least for Virtus.pro. I'm sorry, PSG.LGD, they can still flex it. This Necro can be off laner, and they know he's playing into Tiny. Tiny as a carry doesn't really deal that much damage. Necro has been used as a counter to like certain heroes like Spectre, where Necro completely dominates the matchup. Same goes for Ember Spirit, where the damage output is very limited early on.
So is this a situation where PSG.LGD, they're just really trying to solidify these lanes up, get that advantage early, and just make it so that way VP doesn't get the chance to get that footing?
I think that they'll certainly come out ahead in the lanes. I don't know if they necessarily have to, looking at the lineup. I do agree with Lacoste. I think if you put the Necro into the Tiny lane, Tiny kind of always ends up harassing the offlaner just because of how much you CS with your tree grab, but Necro is going to get free Qs off of you. You get a lot of natural sustain just from last hitting. And if there's a Wyvern up there too, like it could just be a very difficult lane for the Tiny, who, much like the first game when the Bristleback was the win condition, we're now in a scenario where, yeah, sure, IO is like a mild steroid, but when Tiny's looked really busted in this tournament, it's with multiple sources of amplified damage. A Slardar, an Ogre, a Magnus.
And Lacoste is an oracle all to himself this time around because he mentions the Spirit. This is, of course, something that GPK really enjoys playing, is quite skilled with, and also just one of those people that, he's very aggressive and he likes to be able to make these high-octane plays.
It fits the profile, exactly what they needed. They needed a hero that can drop the backline, make Oracle's life a nightmare pretty much, and Wyvern, and he is probably the best option that they had. One more time, PSG.LGD will go with Kunkka. Same goes with the Spirit. I think Void Spirit has slightly better chances because in the first game he got solo killed, and this time around, with the shield, the different shield from Void Spirit, they upgraded the shield, and now it's going to be a bit better. Still liking what PSG.LGD got.
In theory, GBK will have a better matchup, but concern is, I think that your safe lane might get exposed. This Necro into the 3 position for Faith Beyond is really nice here.
All right, well, that's going to be it coming out from us over here at the draft panel. We've got a very interesting game ahead of us. And speaking of interesting, we have a very interesting person who's ready to give us the last word.
Necrophos. Well
Ladies
said,
and gentlemen,
Jenkins.
this is the face of the man who has to make content around Herald gameplay. Everybody out there in the world, it's a rough life out there for all of us. But yeah, Necrophos.
Yes, so well put. Such an eloquent speaker, Jenkins. Thank you so much. All right, well.
Why is it us? Why us? What happened?
There's a short straw for everyone at the end of the day. It's fine here.
But we're going to get into this game number 2 now. Virtus.pro backs up against the wall. Need to find something here in the very end. As already out towards the mid lane, LGD well on their way to try and secure this game number 2. I gotta say, man, I saw that Darkseer picked, just jubilation. I love this hero, it's so awesome.
Yep.
And then immediately the Oracle came out, and it was just, it's such a tough matchup.
I can actually tell you something here.
Tell me.
Now, VP currently spamming the shame line of the beloved Sir Action Slacks. He did a winner's interview with Y. Did you hear what he said? He
talked about Oracle.
He said, "Why? When's the Oracle coming out, man? It's your favorite hero." And Y's like, it's like it was gifted to him. There's one hero where you see it and you go, Oracle. Give me Oracle. It's Darkseer. And the reasoning for that, if you maybe haven't played so much Dota, we'll get to that after, in case there's an engagement here.
There might just be. Gotta be careful here by LGD. Roll in onto one, and GBK gets not even Faith Beyond, able to take the other. And just like that, we're off to the races. And already the Ion Shell.
Yes.
There it is.
There it was, ladies and gentlemen. So you saw there was an Ion Shell on Earth Spirit. Well, I guess we'll go to step 1. Ion Shell is a spell from Darkseer. He puts this little aura on you. It's a tiny little ball, and it damages heroes right next to you. Quite a bit of damage. And, that's great. Earth Spirit, he likes to roll on top of people. He stuns them, he slows them, and he just keeps hitting them. Well, Oracle, he has this lovely spell called Fortune's End right there. That can take off any Ion Shells that are on the Earth Spirit. It's a great counter in lane. That means that Darkseer, of course, if he's trying to Ion Shell creeps, whatever he's trying to Ion Shell, you can remove it as Oracle.
And it's pretty much the spell that you play around throughout all the time. And then later on as well, when you're playing as the Darkseer, if you're trying to kill people, it's all magical damage. Oracle spell Fate's Edict, incredibly good at mitigating that. And then the other thing is that it also takes off Surge. So every little bit of Darkseer pretty much is countered. But we'll see if they're still going to be able to have a decent time with them. The one part that's still going to be nice is getting a back wall off later on, and just the team fight presence that hero brings. But regardless, there's some other heroes.
You play this hero. Why'd they pick it?
It's great with Tiny. You love to run in there.
Yeah, Surge Tiny, that's good.
Nightfall going to be enabled that much more, increasing farm potentially, increasing kill potential.
It is good with these position 4s that can top people. Nice. Fortune's End or not,
Absolutely.
It's a great spell.
We'll see how this ends up working out for them. Is Faith Beyond going to take a nice chunk of damage there? Nightfall, Kingslayer keeping that pressure on. IO has seen a pretty big increase in play recently, it feels like. Particularly in the lead up to TI, it felt like maybe there's going to be a chance that we wouldn't see all that much of it, but now getting played consistently just as this core hero, core enabling hero that lets your position 1 show up to the fight even when they're on the opposite side of the map.
Yeah, and of course, we always know there are teams that are known as like the IO teams, but a little bit of a difference at this TI, as IO is going to help Nightfall try and get first blood.
Oh, not quite going to be there. Zinq, just a little bit too quickly up that mountain.
Very nice, but yeah, we're getting IO on teams that maybe aren't necessarily like known for playing it a whole lot. So that's what's made it a much more common pick. We're also seeing it flex between like the 5 and the 4. Of course, most teams tend to have like an IO player, but you're never quite sure how the laning step's going to go. And well, if you've watched TI for a long time, like Casey and those fans where she was discussing those olden days, IO Tiny is probably very familiar to you as one of the hallmark first like true hero combos right next to like Crystal Maiden Juggernaut that you're used to in Dota.
And that's something that just works really, really well together constantly, is why going to try and pull this wave to connect it with the other. So this is one of the things that you can try and do as Oracle, is force the laning matchup, because normally what happens with Darkseer is you need to pull that wave back behind the tower, get a little bit of separation, and in the end, it is going to be a little bit of disruption. They pull the range creep away, and DM just going to have to hang on with these melee creeps here. Does get that XP a little bit shared there between him and Save, as the wave will be pulled over to the side. And now trying to pressure back Y slightly with Save on this Earth Spirit.
And Y's doing such a great job of like holding that Fortune's End, right?
Yeah.
Because if that's gone, you know, that is a 15-second cooldown. ISL is only 9, so it could be some trouble, especially right now, as they actually go in on knowing that Fortune's End is down. So they're going to get half his HP. You can see how fast that can turn since he's hit level 3 on the Darkseer and has the 2 points in the Ion Shell.
It's potentially a good amount of pressure, and you can see all across the map right now, it's LGD coming out ahead in the laning phase. Kunkka slightly up there.
We're here again, just like last game. Gonna try and find some advantages here.
The bottle, the rundown, nothing to say, pulls back, has the torrent onto Void Spirit. GPK only level 4 right now, and Y moving in does use the dissimilate to get up to the high ground. So VP able to dodge that gank as 2 supports rotated into his lane. And that opens up some pressure for the rest of Virtus.pro to force back Faith Beyond.
GPK again, though, going to be under pressure to try and set that earlier tempo, try and get them going in this game. Needs to have a better laning stage. I think it looks a little bit better than last game, but certainly, you know, versus the Kunkka, it can be tough. He just has a lot of advantages in the laning stage.
Look at that. Punishing the Cold Embrace. As soon as they use it, they run forward with the IO Tiny, start getting a couple free pot shots off, forces Faith Beyond back again. But yeah, GPK definitely the one that they're going to need to try and enable in this. Set the tempo with that Void Spirit, set up for kills with the IO Relocate. And he has, at times, stood out as what feels like the best player, you know, potentially in the tournament. But definitely was shut down to some extent last time in the early goings, was able to make a comeback happen and put some good performances together in that game 1.
He also has a lot more health this game, right? You have a Tiny. That is a hero that, of course, can scale very well with the Shard and the Echo Saber, but can also join in early for some engagements and potentially even like TP to turn around some plays if necessary, especially once that Relocate is going to be out there from the IO. So shouldn't be as much of an isolated need. I thought GPK did a really good job doing that, controlling the middle of the map last game on the Ember. We'll see if he can do that again here to set up for the plays. Now, last game, it was level 6 to level 5, and he went down in that pretty much same exchange. This time, it will not be a solo kill for the enemy mid, and we're still looking for first blood here at 6 minutes.
Yeah, this one's been really interesting in that regard. Obviously, you've got sort of, to some extent, static lane matchups, but heroes that are very survivable. You've got a lot of healing going on. You know, on LGD's side, you've got Necro, Winter Wyvern, and Oracle, all are who about keeping people alive. And then, you know, likewise, an Isle that just keeps people stacked up constantly, as Catapult Wave is going to be pressuring mid a little bit. And looks like Y will move in, and they get the quick finish off on that one. Nothing to say, head back home. XTP comes back, full resources.
Yeah, it's so hard to pressure the resources of a Kunkka.
Oh, there it is.
Pressure on the Zinq, and there. The first blood of game 2. Going the way of Kingslayer.
Not necessarily who would have expected it. Instead, the move through and save. Gonna go down as well. Nothing to say. Claims that one as
meanwhile,
Y also chased down. So a flurry of action. Suddenly, we're 3 kills deep.
Yeah, slow start. Now things are going to start popping off. And of course, someone who's very happy with this is probably DM, because that Oracle's long gone. He can lane a little bit more freely up top. And Ame still top of the board right now, just a little bit ahead of that Tiny. Well, as I say that, of course, classic cast curse. Tiny's going to jump on over there, but DM, hard to track down this hero once you have the Surge available.
Yeah, that is a very defensive, nice build to be able to go for there. As GPK again hanging out towards mid lane. LGD, do they want to make any type of moves early? I mean, you've got Boat, obviously only the 1-point X at level 7, so the rotations feel like they might be a little bit tough for Kunkka until he gets a couple more levels.
I think they're just fully ready to match any sort of aggressive plays from Virtus.pro.
Nice dodge, nothing to say, not going to get by the 8th Remnant. Now, X, Boat comes down, kills off Kingslayer. LGD punishing the aggression from Virtus.pro
as well.
Oh, tries to get away, but the Monkey King a bit too quick on that as Ame finds the finish on DM.
Yeah, I've just got a little bit too good of a start up here on this Monkey King. Treads and the Orb. Now it's going to become a tough place for DM to come back to. And when a Darkseer loses the ability to freely go to lane, they have some problems, right?
True.
Like, you can try and smoke with someone and go for an Iron Shell gank, but the hero likes to be greedy. You like to play in that same zone as like a Beastmaster or a Venomancer and kind of keep pushing out that wave and getting a lot of gold. So he's just going to TP right back up here. Check for wards to see if that's what was the problem last time, but doesn't get lucky. That feels real bad. Yeah. Clearly, I only died because they had wards.
Right.
I mean, it can't be that, they outskilled me.
I mean, Ame is, he was reading those movements and was able to catch him pretty well on that Monkey King. Orb of Corrosion already done now and going into the Echo Saber, so he is going to be quite stacked up.
And a classic play now. If they're paying attention on that ward, he just walked back and Iron Shelled this Void Spirit who smoked. Looks like Wide didn't quite notice though, or maybe perhaps he was trying to
nicely played there to break off the 8th Remnant, but it didn't matter in the end. Still goes down.
I think he knew. By the way he walked in there.
Yeah, he was very prepared for that jump. And almost was able to get himself out as well. Would have at least forced one more jump there.
Yeah, I mean, he even saw the ward get placed on the pillar, right? So, was well aware of the situation.
And this is a nice move, I think, by Virtus.pro. Rotate into that Darkseer's lane, try and force the pressure onto that Tier 1 tower, and enable your core, GPK, to move around and try and get some kills. But Kingslayer going to be caught again down bottom, not quite able to get that tether off.
Oh, that was close.
To Nightfall. And also going to get the D ward. Man, LGD are just everywhere. They are so on top of each one of these moves.
I feel like they're just in their head. Like, I think that they do a really good job of understanding what you need to do to come back in the game. And it's very easy for us to see this kind of plays when we have the bird's eye view, but I feel like their insight into, like, what would I do if my Darkseer is having a bad lane? I would smoke to him so I can get Iron Shell and we try and kill the carry, right?
And then they catch him on the second side of it. DM tries to get out of there, drops the wall, but to no avail, will end up falling. Every single move that Virtus.pro has made, it feels like, has been countered by LGD.
Yeah, they're getting the big blocks out. They're just throwing up some lofty little shots to the basket. It's the big old slam down from LGD. Get out of my face.
GPK, though, does not want to be denied this pressure. Moves down bottom, and again, LGD, they back away. They're prepped, they're ready. But this is what we saw from them, at least in the previous game, that did start to look kind of well, was invading the jungle.
It's so scary coming into this jungle, though. Like, I feel like these heroes are terrifying. A Necrophos, you try and kill him, maybe he just turns, gets you with a Scythe, right? The big heal up with the Ghost Shroud, that could go poorly. You're going to have the Rum buff on top there, too. Then there's the Winter's Curse turnaround plays. Like, I feel like Virtus.pro need to make these aggressive plays, but the punishing heroes are definitely there from LGD.
And you can see the way they want to play aggro, but in a moment, they walk forward. X is going to be used, not going to connect. Faith Beyond jumped on, but the turn! Oh, GPK, you messed around and found out. Faith Beyond.
Where's the respect for the Scythe?
It just takes him down. Roll afterwards, tries to find the backline. They catch now onto the Oracle. That's a good one to get. Toss afterwards, magnetized, doing a good amount of damage, but it's not enough. The heal comes out. And just like that, everything falling apart for VP yet again. Nightfall slowed, but they got bigger fish to fry as they're heading back towards mid to take the tower.
Catapult still just heaving away. Make it nice and easy for LGD. And, well, I mean, when you see the smoke get purchased from Y right there, too, and that's going to be flying out, you know. They're just moving, right?
Yeah.
They want to keep up this pressure.
Man, who can stop LGD? This Virtus.pro team looked like it could have been the ones, but this game number 1, everything's starting to go back and forth, but in the end was constantly into the favor of LG. And now this game number 2, it looks like they've got everything ready. and they're constantly prepped. Virtus.pro, they need a comeback. And thankfully, they do have Darkseer, which is a good hero for it, with the vac wall combos. But they need to get into those items first.
Darkseer combos, IO Tiny. Maybe there'll be something there, but they got some items first. And right now, I mean, GBK trying to look towards a straight Ags? That's going to be a ways away. That's a tall order. No Yules. I mean, pretty rough this game to go for the Yules. Doesn't really save you from a whole lot. Lots of punishes when you come down.
And again,
that's a punish.
all
DM's
it
gone.
takes is one.
I like the friendly tips of boosting up your own team. Can I just say?
It's true.
Those are nice. We don't get enough of those.
No.
Motivate.
Right. Motivation. You know, there's
They're not as much fun though, are they?
well, I mean,
yeah, well,
I don't wanna
it's
say
unfortunate. It's just the reality.
I think right now, though, I mean, LGD can do what they want. Friendly tips or offensive tips. They're choosing to pump up their own team. As Nightfall going to take these Ancients. The only core right now that's ahead of another core from LGD.
Middle tower is under attack.
And trying to get in towards that big item after the Echo Saber. Save nearby as well. They're just trying to hold on to some ground. And get DM some time. Only level 8 on this Darkseer.
Yeah, he's going to need some help. He's definitely not the playmaker out of the Tri-Core right now with the start that he's had. So going to be relying on the Shadow Blade from the Tiny alongside the Relocates, as well as just the Void Spear and the nature of how that hero operates. And besides GBK knowing that he has to get involved a little bit earlier, we'll just straight up buy a Kaya, not going to be able to go for a bigger ticket item.
And he's going to do a little hunt in there. Sees the rotation coming from Faith Beyond. They have a Boundless Strike if they want to use it.
Got to watch that level 10 talent. Has the bonus range on the Scythe.
Yeah. It's a little bit bigger than I think most people expect. Obviously, that talent being added relatively recently and can catch somebody off guard. But 3 to 8, and you can see already very much into the favor of LG, though. Certainly Virtus.pro not out of it. All they need to do is find those first set of items, hit a power spike, try and take that perfect fight.
They have a lot of late game potential, but I do think that LGD are just, they see their timing. They're just looking for BKBs on the Kunkka, as well as the Monkey King. They're going to start pushing forward. That'll all be also guarded by a pipe on this Necrophos. So magical damage going to be pretty poor versus this lineup. And look at the heroes of Virtus.pro.
Yeah.
It's like all magic, except for when Nightfall gets those big items and starts swinging.
Maybe they can catch something before that pipe comes online and starts making a difference. Thank you.
Down.
Drops it, spots it, sees him, wants to interrupt this, and, well, the Avatos will turn into a quick kill. But can they get any more afterwards? That was a bit of a freebie.
Zenkyu's crazy. You just...
They're thinking about going for more here. TP's coming in. Nightfall right there on top of him. Y is out afterwards. DM just has to run away. Gonna try and relocate him out and does manage to get the escape. So it ends up being a trade right there of a 1-for-1 with likely an IO to die.
As long as GBK stays alive up here, this is okay.
Yeah.
Right. It does get X'd, but not gonna find the combo.
That's
the freebie back down bottom. All right, we're good.
Yeah, so like you said, GBK able to get out. They lose the 2 supports and still getting some farm on their heroes, but you can see LGD taking the move now to constrict the map. Try and put some pressure on the bottom tier 2.
Yeah, I actually think that was kind of okay for Virtus.pro. In the state they're in, like there was 2 farming cores, time to get relocated out and just hit a bunch of creeps mid. Void Spirit's hitting creeps in the top lane. They only lose IO. Small victories here. That's the state of the game right now for Virtus.pro.
Gotta find the silver linings where you can. But 4 to 10, 16 minutes in. And Virtus.pro with the Shadow Blade done. DM getting up to level 9, so he's got 3 points up in Surge. They've got potential to catch people quickly. Rest of the team moving in afterwards. Why? Gonna pop the ulti. Now the turn, wall down, get the slowdown, but they've already lost GPK. And Y just walks away. Oh man, if he gets out of here as well, nobody from LGD really is going to get punished with this, with the Wyvern already dead. Why now? Okay, the jump forward, wants to make it live. Avalanche tries to get away, but not quite going to get out.
At least they got that. Goes down. Sentry, though, the original one's still there.
And Nightfall, he's got to run, got to hide, got to escape. DM TP's out right underneath that tree. And just like that, they managed to mostly escape. Oh, safe.
He's got the pole, remember?
Yeah, good. And there's the roll away.
Monkey.
Nicely played. Finds. Oh, no. With the winner's cards. Turn around. No, they can't quite catch him. Almost got him there. But able to escape by the skin of his teeth. Save out.
Well, they've stabilized at the very least, right? Positive stuff here for Virtus.pro. They're keeping the lead relatively the same here for LGD, but it is still a lead nonetheless. And first item delivered out to DM, Detective Mech. Wants to go for that Aghanim Scepter, which kind of functions like a Midas in some regards, and that like really sometimes you'll see them like rush it, so they just like ramp their gold. But obviously in this game, they really just need the multiple ion shells and to actually try and live in these fights.
Make sure they don't get dispelled as well. So that Earth Spirit silence is going to become so key in these ones. If you can find that Oracle.
You can see it right there. It's just such a low level, right?
Yeah.
Not much that he can do. They can't burst him fast enough without their full focus.
Incredibly difficult game for Virtus.pro, but not impossible. Mech done, but he's going to need that and a little bit more to get out of this one, and didn't stand a chance. Man, they are just going one by one there. Save falls down. I'm able to get him.
That Monkey King virus gets some serious reach.
PSG.LGD. They came in as the favorites of the tournament. They haven't disappointed yet. And very close to continuing on in this upper bracket. It's carrying an upper bracket finals appearance at the very least.
They got that walking game too. The way they're moving around this map, I see like completely fearless. Game one, using their vision a lot more, kind of following the vision. Now they just, I don't know, they feel kind of invincible. I feel like they're kind of getting a little bit disrespectful here in their movements here, and I don't even think they're going to get punished.
Getting everything they want.
Look at this ward just sitting under it up top right now for nothing to say. He's begging them to come fight him. It's like, I'm just going to kill your creep waves so they leave your base. You got tier 1, you got tier 2. I don't care.
He's just out
there. That's fine. You don't have a lane.
He does not appear to care even a little bit. Aether Remnant not going to connect on to nothing to say.
And this smoke, they're going to see the Io's courier. They're not going to kill it. They want the prize.
And Kingslayer there to break the smoke, but
they ping, they know.
Jump forward, they find the bigger target. The Tiny is there. Oh, they're gonna wait, so that way he can't relocate out of there. They focus down Kingslayer.
Look at Nightfall though. He wants to make the big play. He comes back in.
A chance. Abatos dead onto one, but he might get punished for this one. Can he find his way out of there? Fade Beyond chasing, no Reaper Scythe, but in the end, they get the double.
Well, he had no TP. He would have had to run all the way home. I guess he was just trying to find something a little bit bigger.
An X. GPK finds the Remnant, Assimilate, gets him away.
Bottom lane DM. Oh, the monkey.
He knows, oh my God! Is that an offlaner? Excuse me? What? I know they took the armor away from Mech, but holy moly. At least the extended one that they had before, and now they find save, kill him off too. This is a thrashing in game number 2.
It's like a 600 damage boundless strike on that Darkseer. Just gone.
My goodness. Well, tough stuff indeed. As 2 to 8, or rather 7 to 18. That's how it's looking to me. Wow. That's how it felt.
Is that your odds?
Yeah.
Is that what that was? It's probably pretty accurate, I would say.
Around those range.
That might be a little bit generous. Maybe less like, 8, more like 8% sort of deal.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Hey, look at that.
7. I checked first. I cheated. I'm not going to.
Unbelievable.
Can't lie to the people,
Well, nonetheless, the way that Virtus.pro win this game, though the odds of it happening have gone down, the method remains the same. Take a big fight with Darkseer, try and get that silence onto Oracle, and of course it all starts with a smoke like this. Can they do it though?
I mean, the last time we were in a situation like this, we'd seen bigger comebacks, and we saw the comeback.
That's true.
We've had it happen here in the bracket.
AC
it
is
can
done.
be done.
They run in, find Q. That's an opening to get.
Look, he's worth 5K. Now it's an 8K lead. See, that's how it works. It's just math, guys.
Right.
It's fine.
See.
How about
they
this
find
one?
the second.
4,200.
That's not bad either.
Is it getting subtracted, though?
Can they get him? Why? Down low dead. BKB, there's the wall down onto both of them. Is this an opportunity here? LGD taking down the supports first, but he still hits pretty hard. GPK wanting to find an opening. BKB is out, and now there's the Yule Scepter lift up on TM. He's got to find a way out of this one. The X pulls him back in and just eviscerates him afterwards, and that is the problem. The supports, they die, but they come back pretty quick afterwards on the respawn.
Virtus.pro just trying to keep the mentality in this one, trying to keep themselves feeling good. Still spam those voice lines, you know, slay together, win together, lose together. One of those three looking the most likely here for sure. As they head into the Roche pit here, the H will be claimed now from LG.
And there it is, gets picked up by Ame. As down towards mid, they will run next. GPK pushing out the lane, and save with them. If there's an opportunity to find a pickoff, that's the best bet for the two heroes to find it. And I mean, we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about it. Like Kyle talked about it in the draft panel. He saw it as soon as it came out. That Oracle pick into Darkseer completely destroyed his game, and currently is the only core that's not really feeling like a core. It's just a tough matchup.
It's frustrating because Darkseer always wants this pairing, and so it feels like it's something that would be really good to go in that phase of the draft. When you have to pick two heroes in a row, you just show this strong, like, essentially like a draft combo that's just like, yeah, I mean, you know that you're going to pick some sort of a 4 with the Darkseer anyway, so seeing it just like right together, it slides in there pretty well, but if you leave that Oracle in, it's going to hurt. Now at the same time, you can't just ban Oracle or they're just going to ban Darkseer.
True enough. Well, we see ourselves down a good amount. They actually used the relocate there for Tiny, so just ensuring that he doesn't go down as Save pulls the next creep wave. They need to buy time.
Time to practice all of your stall tactics right now for Virtus.pro. This is the upper bracket. Of course, they'll still survive if they lose this one, and while you're never going to get better practice than this in terms of trying to delay a game that feels like it's at its worst. LGD, main stage, TI. You might as well get some experience here.
True enough.
And perhaps you can just do it.
Maybe. There's a chance.
There's always a chance.
Well, an X. There's a chance they might catch him here. Torrent. Save. Goes for the kick and roll. And the TP out. Looks like he should. Ooh, just barely get out of there. This X was back off cooldown, I believe.
Just getting there, yeah.
Look at this. They're hyping each other up. Hey, look at that. You kicked him out of there. Got away. Any delay is good.
Great. Woohoo!
There it is. That's the good vibes.
Yeah, it's the good vibes squad here, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. And send all your positive energy to Virtus.pro. They need it right about now.
Oh, silence. Save. Tries to go for the rollaway. That time, not quite going to happen.
All right, but while this is happening, look at the other 4 Radiant heroes.
That's right.
They're hitting creeps.
Pushing out all the map.
Even Io's getting all the action. Kingslayer's just like, yeah.
He's underneath a
I'm
ward
under
right
a
now.
board near Ancients. Yeah. I'm going to save my Tiny. Gets into trouble.
Meantime.
Rax? Who needs Rax? We can't fight this anyway. Take them. We don't want them.
Gonna take down those mid-racks.
Lazy creeps can't even defend the base.
We're doing the real work down there.
Oh, you think we care about our bottom lane? Okay, yeah, maybe we do.
And they're going to show up for this one.
Guys, should we fight this one?
Yeah. Smoke up. Virtus.pro. What can they do here to stop this? Potential round 2. The toss-back play could be something to look for. Or the rollback. Vacuum only onto 1. Wall afterwards. Not doing nearly enough. They did find that Oracle, but can't quite get the kill. And just like that, why it's going to live through it. A godlike spree. And, well, you turn around with the Winter's Curse. The Torrent afterwards. One by one they fall. And LGD will not be denied. This team has been hell and back. They're trying to finish this one off here. This upper bracket match, trying to get to that upper bracket finals. They turn on to GPK as well, finish off that rack. Still one more Tier 2 tower remaining, but LGD, they want to close this one out right now.
Why with the blink lines? He's on his march to another Aegis, of course.
Oh,
Remembering his old friend who was there the
and
last
there
time.
it is. GG is called. We got 2 teams in the upper bracket finals that are looking unstoppable, and LGD is one of them.
Are they the unstoppable object or the immovable force? I hear Insania always talking about Team Secret and the wall.
That's right.
They must be the immovable force, so this must be the unstoppable one.
And of course, with this 2-0 victory, we've got a great matchup coming up very soon, and Virtus.pro going to have to head on back to the drawing board, figure out what they want to do as they try and continue their run as well in that lower bracket. But certainly the story here, and the story for tonight for me, is LGD just looks so good. They never look flustered. They feel like they have a really good mental game with how they're playing, and I'm just incredibly impressed. So some solid Dota, man.
They're on that other level. There's no doubt about it. And Virtus.pro, they can get there. I also do believe that they need to find themselves a little bit more experience in the lower bracket. They got to look at their plan. They got to adjust, learn what they did wrong in this game, and bring it back a little bit better the next time that they're here facing a tougher opponent.
Absolutely. So the crowd getting in on the action as well, and the players, I'm sure, very much loving that sound to their ears. But I think that when you kind of look at what this team has been through, and of course where they're going to go from now, it's just all looking up. So for now, let's get back to the panel, see what they thought about that series.
Thank you very much, Lyrical and Trent. What I thought about this series is that PSG.LGD did not drop a beat. They dominated that game too, especially here with AY, Insania, and T-Gov. We're going to break this game down. Of course, we're going to hear from one of the winners as well. And Curtis, this game was just unstoppable for PSG.LGD. Yeah, no, LGD, they, I think them and Secret, they look like the clear favorites of this tournament. VP, they're a good team, but honestly, I think this entire series, the mid lane domination, it was so surprising to me because yesterday we saw GPK dominate Ori on the mid lane, and now nothing to say. He had 2 very strong lanes versus him. Yeah, we said you said something about not wanting to see Spirits, T.
Yeah, I'm just a bit bored of them. They just do the backline jumping too much. But I think for me, this is very much an idea where PSG is a very good team at reading what type of aggression you'll bring in, and then they'll draft the counter-aggressive heroes, to be able to then play for that moment or play for that time. If they win their lanes, then they're going to be ahead not only in the draft, but in the way that they can get run at you and utilize their timings. And some teams, if you're let's say an OG style, if they don't win a fight, they can keep wearing you down. But VP, when they have these type of heroes, it's hard for them to keep going, right? Because it's the heroes just don't feel like they can match up into what PSG have kind of expertly crafted. Yeah, we talked about some of the adjustments that we saw made, or that we wanted to see made in between Game 1 and Game 2. But it felt like PSG.LGD was no. We're going to just play something entirely different. So there was no adjusting based on Draft 1. It felt just like a completely fresh game in Insania.
I think similar to how Secret played today and yesterday, it feels like LGD, they understand what game condition they're going up against, what win condition they're going up against, and they know how to draft against it. And so far, I haven't seen them not have an answer for a specific type of style that they've been faced with. So I think VP's approach seemed to be hey, we're going to just play really fast, we're going to try to win lanes, and we're going to try to snowball the wins. But I feel like in Game 1, they didn't really have a real high ground condition, and in Game 2, it just never picked up. They never got off the ground.
They never got off the ground. I also want to say that I'm happy to see why on the Oracle. Some of you with really good memory will remember that he played 2 of the 4 games in the grand finals in TI6 as Oracle, and this is a comfort pick for them. It was a counter to the Darkseer. It just felt like a cookie cutter hero for him to pick up for this one. The Oracle Winter Wyvern combination, the double save T, it worked out great as well. They had so much saves, right? I'm just looking at the start of the 2 drafts, right? In the Game 1, you've got Dawn, Tide, Kunkka. In this game, you've got Necro, Wyvern, Oracle, still grounded by that Kunkka. It very much was
the unkillables, right? And if you are to kill them, it's going to take so much time. Like, if we had a highlight reel of this Oracle, he's underneath his tower getting dove by like an Earth Spirit, a Tiny, and he's still living. You know, maybe that casual one fluffy hat is, you know, broken. Very good item, by the way. Love it. But you're like, it's the idea that, yeah, they buy so much time that then, you know, Arme pops off his tree and just suddenly Wukongs you to the next, you know, lower bracket or something. Like, it's just very good from PSG.
I mean, you and I discussed this yesterday, right? But like the Monkey King, the importance of being able to get the 4 hits in. And I think with the heroes that they had around the Monkey King, it was very easy to do that. Like you could always enable the Monkey King to get those hits off. You had Oracle to do it, you had Wyvern to do it, you had heroes that are going to run in and die for you. So easy Monkey game.
It's also just sort of like a free lane, right? I think even without Oracle, Monkey King seems to fare pretty well versus Darkseer. I mean, LOA, Avery was telling me about it while we were watching on the side, but I mean, you don't get hit by Ion Shells. And if they commit on you and don't kill you, you're going to get 4 hits off and just full heal.
Yeah.
I have an interesting question, guys. Is this the first ever time that you've seen a game where both supports have lost and not had boots in their inventory? Because Earthspirit only had Vessel, and Io only had Locket. Have you ever seen a loss where the supports are like, you know, obviously it's kind of like a no boot meta on some heroes, right? But this was...
I guess this has more to do with the heroes.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, because Earthspirit maxes the roll right, doesn't really need it. Wisp Tethers gets the same.
Earthspirit does usually buy boots, though, right?
Yeah.
I feel like he was
I understand.
He was desperate for his timing.
This is
Yeah,
kind of,
it's
this
true,
is,
I
yeah,
guess.
it's like, this is the type of question maybe in like a year's time. This will be the trivia, so I've just pre-warned you. If you
Okay.
do get asked this question at an event in Sania,
Yeah.
now you know this game.
Now I know.
No boots on these support.
It
in the winner's interview.
In the winner's interview.
As he's playing an event.
As he's winning TI.
Of
Yeah.
course, of course. It also is pretty tough trying to, like, when you're losing a fight, to run away from a Kunkka that's going to X-mark you back, or from a Monkey King that's going to jump on you, and you have nowhere to go. So why even buy boots? Because the moment you start running, you already lost. Like, you're going to die, right? That's the nature of PSG.LGD's
Honestly,
lineup.
that was VP's lineup. Like, they
Yeah.
had to go in and commit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no choice.
So no boots, easy. Is this a really good performance by PSG.LGD, or are we a little bit sad, maybe, that VP didn't have as good of a showing as I think a lot of us were hoping that they would have?
I would say this is very good from PSG because VP's playstyle and what they did in this game, if they played against like other teams, maybe not Secret, they'd still be able to beat them with these lineups, this playstyle. It's the Secret and the PSG. The reason why they are both now top 3 at TI is this kind of patient, kind of counter-aggressive style in nature where they'll read your draft and find kind of the weaknesses before they enter the game. Unlike other teams that need to experience it to really find that weakness.
Yeah, I think they were strategically beat. I don't think VP necessarily to me look like they're just worse players or anything. I just think strategically they were beat. I don't think they were even allowed to play Dota. They were on stage twice to get kind of like not even have a chance to play the game.
Yeah, PSG.LGD is just on another level, and especially at their position for XinQ, and that is who we have for a winner's interview.
Hello, thank you so much, Shiver. We have Shinkyu here, and Helen, our translator. Thank you for taking time to speak to us.
非常感谢你接受这个采访。
谢谢 ，Thank you。
Fantastic. Now, last time you were at the International, it was TI8 with Team Serenity. You went out pretty early. How does it feel to be back?
上一次你参加 TI 是 TI8的 Serenity 队伍，然后被淘汰的挺久。这一次回来感觉如何？
感觉很好。
It feels great.
Now, you were the underdogs then. Now, you're the team to beat. What changed?
当时你们并不是一直被看好的队伍，然后这次你们是大热门，什么改变了呢？
就是大家都打得很好，然后人也在进步啊。
I think it's because everyone's playing well and people are always improving.
All right. Sir, you are my hero. I'm a master techies, and I watched your replays from one sick, twisted freak to another. Have you even considered picking the hero at the tournament?
这位主持人是一个忠实的炸弹人玩家，然后他想问一下你这位高手，因为他看了你很多炸弹人的录像，就有没有想过选这个英雄？
想过吧，可是有点就是我自己玩的也不是很好，就没有选。
I thought about it, but I don't play it that well, so we're not picking it.
What? Oh, okay, no problem. Well, okay. Finally, your next opponent is Team Secret, the only team that has ever taken a game off you in the group stage. Are you ready?
你们下一个对手是 Team Secret， 然后他们也是唯一一个在小组赛有赢过你们的队伍，准备好了吗？
我们尽力吧。
We'll do our best.
Oh, well, a very kind-hearted answer by, I believe, Shin means heart, correct?
他想问一下你的那个新 Q 的新是新的意思吗？
你可以这么理解吧。
You can think of it that way if you want.
Well, you know, I think of a lot of weird things. So thank you for your time. We will see you later, and best of luck against Team Secret as we throw it